This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Jury selection. A high-profile murder trial gets underway in Halifax. Insurance woes. The damage of post-tropical storm Fiona still haunts a Grand Lake family. And making waves. Two Nova Scotia sailing sisters ride success and chart a course for the Los Angeles Olympics.
Lots of sunshine on Tuesday, but variable temperatures. Cooler in the east, milder in the west. Your full forecast is coming up.
A trial opened in Dartmouth this morning for the man accused of killing battle rapper Pat Stay. He was stabbed on a street in downtown Halifax in September of 2022 and died later in hospital. Adam Drake is facing a single charge of second-degree murder. Blair Rose reports.
Pat Stay was attacked on Lower Water Street, outside a bar that's no longer in business. He had made a name for himself in rap music, and his death was acutely felt. There were memorials in the days after his death as people gathered to remember him.
Eminem, who's arguably the biggest rapper on the planet, he tweeted out "Kings Never Die" in a tribute to Pat passing. So I think we just wanted to honor him tonight, and kings do live forever.
Adam Drake was arrested days after the attack and is now facing a second-degree murder charge. Today, a jury of 7 men and 7 women were chosen to hear evidence in this case, which is scheduled to run for 5 weeks into mid-June. Because of Stay's profile, prospective jurors were screened to see what, if anything, they'd heard about the murder and whether they could put what they'd heard out of their minds to focus only on the evidence they're about to hear. That evidence is to include testimony from a couple of dozen police officers. A couple of people said they couldn't meet that test to remain impartial, but a jury was still picked fairly quickly with no drama. Blair Rhodes, CBC News, Dartmouth.
Nova Scotia RCMP say they were searching for a possible impaired driver hours before the car was involved in a crash that killed 5 people over the weekend. The crash happened on Highway 101 between Falmouth and Hansport on Saturday night when a Honda Civic was traveling in the opposite direction of traffic when it collided with a Nissan Sentra. The collision left 2 people dead in one car, 3 people dead in the other car. RCMP say they responded to a possible impaired driver involving the same Honda Civic earlier that night. An extensive search for the vehicle, led by multiple officers, was unsuccessful. RCMP are asking witnesses who may have seen the car prior to the collision to come forward. Halifax firefighters battled a second alarm structure fire in Hammonds Plains this afternoon. Crews were called to the area of Pockwalk Road and Wildberry Lane just after 2:30 to investigate black smoke that could be seen from downtown Halifax. Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency say fire spread into the woods. That's part of the same area affected by wildfire nearly 2 years ago. The fire was under control by 3:30 p.m. No injuries were reported. The cause is still under investigation. Post-tropical storm Fiona was one of the most powerful and destructive storms in Canadian history. But for one Nova Scotia family, the storm isn't a thing of the past. Claudia Sheehy and her 4-year-old son have been out of their Grand Lake home for about 2.5 years because of insurance problems. The CBC's Richard Woodbury reports.
I'm 5 steps back instead of being where I should be. And I feel like I've lost the last few years with my son because the last few years it's just been us moving and trying to just make it instead of us building a life together.
Claudia Sheehy envisioned her Grand Lake home as the perfect place to raise her son, Kieran. There's a half-hectare of land overlooking the lake, a park within walking distance, and a nearby horseback riding farm. But when Fiona struck in September 2022, it brought massive winds with widespread gusts of over 130 kilometers per hour in parts of Atlantic Canada. Fiona tore parts of the roof off of Sheehy's home. A storm 2 months later did the same thing, and while temporary repairs have been done, no permanent repairs have been carried out. The issue is a dispute over the repair costs. A quote from a company recommended by Sheehy's insurer, Allstate, says it will cost around $70,000. Quotes Sheehy has obtained say it will be over $300,000.
Water pours in every storm. Big snowstorms, water pours in. Areas that were dry previously are no longer dry. There's mold everywhere. There are bugs everywhere. I don't know what to say about it. It's completely in a complete... I'm afraid it just needs to be torn down at this point.
Sheehy contacted Allstate's ombudsperson, but they said they could not do anything. She hired a lawyer and sued Allstate in Nova Scotia Supreme Court.
But this is a horrible case. It's one of the worst that I've seen in 30 plus years of practice, and has had a devastating impact on Claudia, who's been incredibly patient, and her family, and getting back into their home.
Getting the case resolved has been slowed down because Allstate invoked something known as the appraisal clause. It's a dispute resolution mechanism. When two parties disagree about the value of a claim, each hires an appraiser to determine the claim value. If the two appraisers disagree, a party known as an umpire is brought in, and the amount they determine is final. Sheehy's legal case is on hold pending the outcome of the appraisal process. In a statement, Allstate said it has high standards for customer service and has been in regular contact with Sheehy. Allstate said it could not comment on the legal proceedings. The ordeal has taken an emotional toll on Sheehy. She says she struggles with anxiety and depression. She was on medical leave from work for a year. Financially, she says the company owes her more than $100,000 for things like living expenses and the cost of emergency repairs.
I just want them to honor the policy that I'm paying for, and I'm still paying for.
Richard Woodbury, CBC News, Grand Lake.
And with us now for our first look at the weather forecast, Ryan Snoddon. Ryan.
Well, Tom, we are looking at a pretty fine couple of days shaping up here. Lots of sunshine, temperatures very spring, even summer-like, dare I say it, by the time we get to midweek. Getting there on Tuesday, and you can see the northerly wind will be a bit of a factor on Tuesday, especially in the east, where that's going to hold Cape Breton temperatures in the single digits, as cool as 5 for onshore winds for Inverness. We'll get into the 8-9 range further south into the Port Hawkesbury and Richmond County area. Near 10 for the Northumberland shore, cooler in those onshore winds if your feet are in the water, but you can see temperatures will be warmest here in through the south and west. And yes, a whole lot of sunshine. Slight risk for a shower this evening into the overnight in Cape Breton as that front moves through. High pressure in firm control. By the time we get to Wednesday, we will see a few clouds in the mix and the winds shifting back to southwesterly. So temperatures on Wednesday, we're talking high teens, low 20s. And yes, while we will see the clouds building up on Thursday, it looks like temperatures will be in the low, even some mid-20s on Thursday, Tom. We'll talk about that and a look ahead to that long weekend forecast coming up.
It's a big week, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Nova Scotia Health is working to significantly improve access to youth gender-affirming care in the province. In just over a year, youth clinics have opened up in Kentville and Bridgewater, and there's more planned. The CBC's Andrew Lamb brings us that story.
This youth gender-affirming care clinic in Kentville opened February 2024, and in March another opened in Bridgewater, with more to come. The goal is to prevent youth from having to go to the IWK in Halifax for this kind of health care.
Accessing gender-affirming care isn't just a city thing or an urban thing, right? Like we exist in rural settings as well, and ideally should be able to access that care wherever we're at.
Davis is trans and helped start the Kentville Clinic, which provides puberty blocker and hormone therapy treatments to youth who have hit puberty up to age 16.
These are medical treatments that have existed for a long time, and they are available and safe for youth to access.
The clinics operate on an interdisciplinary model with pediatrics, mental health, nursing, and pharmacy practitioners. Davis says nursing support is a unique feature. Nurses can help administer treatments that require injections, for example, but also teach youth how to do it safely themselves.
Some folks live quite a ways out even from the clinic here in Kentville, so important to learn these skills and how to do it safely and appropriately.
There's a need for these clinics, one advocate says, with people often having to go to Halifax for care.
These are barriers that a lot of folks, particularly youth, cannot afford to do. A lot of families that are working families can't afford the time off to get to Halifax and back.
Merrifield did express concern that the clinics could draw hate. In recent years, the provision of gender-affirming care for youth has become increasingly politicized. Davis says the Kentville Clinic has heard nothing but positive feedback from youth and their families.
These beautiful, wonderful youth know exactly who they are and what they need. And I wish politicians listened more closely to them.
The plan is to open more clinics like the one here in Kentville. It's likely the next location will be Sydney. Nova Scotia Health is also hiring a gender-affirming care coordinator to help roll out these new clinics and engage with partners. Andrew Lamb, CBC News, Kentville.
Nova Scotia continues to have just one lab-confirmed case of measles. Nova Scotia Health confirmed the case last week in an adult patient who recently traveled to the United States. Public Health say they have connected with identified contacts. Since last week, the health authority says approximately 550 people attended public health immunization clinics in Central Zone to receive a measles vaccine. The risk of measles to the general public is still considered low. Most people are protected from measles by being vaccinated or from previous infection. Two Nova Scotia sisters who competed in sailing together at last year's Summer Olympics are making waves on the international stage again. The siblings from Chester landed on the podium at an event in France last month as they start ramping up their journey to make the 2028 Games in Los Angeles. The CBC's Josh Hoffman has more.
Antonia and Georgia Lewin LaFrance are briefly back on home soil just before another competition takes them back to the other side of the world again. The two sisters from Chester just won a bronze medal at a French Olympic event in France in April. It was the first time the pair were on the water in a while, and they say it was nice to have some success, but they did feel a bit rusty.
I think it's really easy to say yes, but at the same time it's also really early in the quad, and our focus and goal is to be on the podium at the Olympics. So yes, it's a nice feeling, but at the same time we have a lot of work to do.
Antonia and Georgia made their Olympic debut at the 2024 Paris Games and finished 11th in their event. They now have their sights set on the 2028 Summer Games in Los Angeles and feel that having their first Olympics behind them is a major step forward.
Sailing is a sport that requires a lot of experience, and you'll see that most of the people who have medals have been to 2-3 Olympic Games before, so that experience is everything to us.
Antonia and Georgia have both been sailing since they were roughly 7 years old. Antonia is 2 years older than her sister, but Georgia is the captain when they're out on the water.
When we first started, like when Georgia and I were growing up, we were quite different personalities. And still are, of course. But I think throughout the course of my life, throughout the course of our lives, sports psychology has become quite prominent. And so when we started working together as a team, that also became a really big theme in our partnership. And we just spent a lot of time having really crusty, open conversations. And sometimes to this day.
The sisters continue their journey to the 2028 LA Games this week as they head to Greece to prepare for the European Championship next month. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Halifax.
The Halifax area organization, led mostly by black men, celebrated the mothers in their lives on Sunday. 902 Man Up held a Mother's Day brunch in Cole Harbour to treat the women they say helped them get where they are today. CBC was there.
Simple. It's our mothers. We're not here without our mothers, and we're a group of men started this organization to make an impact in our community, but that impact's not made without the strong women in our communities.
Well, I'm not just a mother today. I'm actually a mother 365 days of the year, right? And my mother means everything to me. So I'm imagining that most moms here would say the same thing, that their mother means everything to them. So to just show appreciation and just, be able to gather and be with each other is great. I'm grateful.
It's funny because it's something we were talking about for probably 6 months, but like men, we kind of put it off, and then it's like, we got to get something done. The date's coming up, and you know what we did? We brought in some of the women in the organization to help us put it together, and here we are today. we made it happen with the support of the women in our organization.
You can't do anything without a woman. I'm sorry. No disrespect. We love our men, but women, we carry the compassion, the empathy, and all of that. Putting this together, obviously, I did it for my mom, who's, sitting down, but I did it for her, honestly, because I want to appreciate her and I want to appreciate mothers like her.
Well, I just like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And Happy Mother's Day to all the moms that have passed on, because we will always remember our moms, whether they are here with us or in memory. So, Happy Mother's Day.
And a great Mother's Day it was. You are looking at some video from Sullivan's Pond in Dartmouth. Ryan back with your full weather forecast right after this quick break. All right, so how did Mother's Day go at your house? The sun showed up. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to get out for a little walk yesterday, and things were good. A bit cool with that northerly wind behind that system, which, by the way, did open up the skies at times on Saturday. It was really coming down. About 10 to 20 millimeters from that system as expected, but a lot came in a quick hurry for sure in some spots. So now, of course, we're looking at a couple more showers as a front moves through, as I mentioned earlier. We'll get to that and the clear out that is underway after it. But first and foremost, let's have a look at our webcam shot. This from Halls Harbor. Such a beautiful spot.
Lovely landscape there, isn't there?
Yeah. Low tide there.
Low tide for sure.
Yeah. One of the most incredible spots to watch the tides here in the province. One of course. Low tide at Halls Harbor, but those boats will be floating before you know it. Now, as we look at the temperatures out there, temperatures in Halls Harbor in those onshore winds in the single digits. Same thing through Parsboro. We are looking at Greenwood, Kentville, 12, 13 degrees though. And that's kind of the story across much of the west. Into the east and seeing temperatures anywhere from kind of 6 to 10 degrees there. What we're looking at again is this front that's coming through, the winds. Yeah, they're going to be sustained near 20 tonight for Cape Breton. They will back off for the rest of the mainland as that front moves out. You can see we're still seeing some gusts in the 30 to 40 kilometer per hour range at last check. Radar showing some of these showers moving through. They're fairly isolated. Most of the activity has now departed here off to the south. Still a lingering chance for Cape Breton for tonight and through the northeast. That's going to be our greatest chance of seeing a shower in and along that frontal boundary. Backing things out, this is holding hands with this next front, this next warm front. And boy, the temperatures are really surging in and around this system. And before I get to the temps, you can see that other system spinning around off to the U.S. south. How about these temperatures, though? 34 degrees in Winnipeg here in mid-May. And so, yes, temperatures indeed surging here. 28 in Regina, nothing to shake a stick at. And how about this? 9 in Calgary. So the cold air wrapping in on the other side of this system, but that heat is really surging up. And 25 in Toronto, we are going to be seeing those temperatures warming up for us as well. Not quite that warm, not into the 30s, but mid-20s certainly possible here over the next couple of days as we will walk you through it. Overnight temperatures tonight anywhere from 4 to 6 to 7 degrees with those light winds. Have a look. The clouds again a bit stubborn through this evening. That chance for an isolated shower through the North Shore and into Cape Breton. As we move into the early hours of Tuesday, that moves out. Now, note as we move into the afternoon, the winds fairly light here across the west and central, but they will be persistent from the north for the North Shore and into Cape Breton, a little more persistent. That's going to handicap temperatures there in through the 6, 7, 8 range. And you can see as we work our way into the south and west with those lighter winds, that's where temperatures are going to be able to pop a little bit milder. Have a look, 5 degrees, Cheticamp down through Mabu to Port Hood and Ingonish near 6, but should squeak up towards 8 degrees in through the Bredor Lakes and down towards Richmond County. Canso near 9, Sherbrooke near 12, Antigonish 10, and then as you move back into the North Shore, Tatamagouche, Pictou, likely right near 9 degrees, but will warm up into the 13, 14 range for central areas down towards the Halifax area. And our hotspots tomorrow will be here indeed, Bridgewater to Keji. Now, also noteworthy, winds become light enough that there's a bit of a sea breeze kicking in here for the South Shore. So that's why temperatures in places like Liverpool and Western Head will be cooler than it will be inland. Now, as we look into the Wednesday time period, that area of high pressure moving out, the southwest winds moving in, that's where we're tapping into that really warm air mass off to our south and west as it does move into the region. And so, Wednesday, temperatures looking set to range between about 16 and 20 degrees, give or take a few degrees, of course. Onshore winds are going to be cooler, and they will be from the west to southwest on Wednesday afternoon. But a beautiful day shaping up for Wednesday. Now into the Thursday time period, we're going to cloud up a little bit, but temperatures really still surging. We'll see a chance for a late day shower in through the south and west, but Thursday's range looks to be about 20 to 24, cooler in the onshore winds. Friday, we're going to bring a chance for showers in. Similar story for Saturday. Doesn't look like a washout, but a chance for showers. A greater risk for Sunday and into Monday, unfortunately, Tom. But still time for things to change. Yeah, we'll focus on the next few days, which definitely look really nice.
Yeah, that looks wonderful. Some big numbers on the board for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, after a grueling search for 2 missing children, one volunteer is calling for more funding. When you see a large-scale search effort like we did last week for 2 missing children in Pictou County, you can see it's a major undertaking. But some involved in these searches are calling for changes to make it possible for them to keep doing their work more effectively. Kevin McLean is the president of the Colchester Ground Search and Rescue Association. Mr. McLean, why do you have funding concerns when it comes to search and rescue?
I'd say because we're not really well funded, at least not across the province. I happen to be on a team that is recognized by the municipality in which we reside. That's the Colchester area, where the municipality of Colchester County and the town of Stewiacke recognize the services we provide as essential. So our team is one of the better funded teams within the province, but that's not the case with most of the other teams. There are a total of 23 teams in the province, and funding is generally lacking throughout the province for the GSAR teams.
And so, from best you know, how underfunded do you feel they are?
Well, the provincial government provides each team $3,000 a year, which is the same value that they've been paying each team for about 20 years now. Well, we haven't seen an increase in the payment from the provincial level, and at the municipal level, it ends up being a function of what they can squeeze out of their own operating budgets. So it varies across the province with many of their teams.
Okay, and have you asked for an increase?
Of course. We ask for an increase every year, and as far as I know, every team asks for an increase every year, both at the provincial level and at the municipal level. But oftentimes, it's not forthcoming.
Okay, so how does a search like the one we witnessed last week, which was rather large scale, how does it get funded?
So the operating expenses of a search are covered by both the EMO and the RCMP. So the EMO, which is the provincial government layer that funds the search and rescue efforts, they cover our travel expenses to the search. And then all our operating expenses at the search are covered by the RCMP.
Okay, and so who pays for the gear? Is there gear that you still need?
Well, every search member is responsible for outfitting him or herself with their own gear. So they typically pay for their own gear, and it's accumulated over, a period of a year, couple of years, whatever, to get all the equipment that they are required to carry with them when they go out on a search.
So is any gear provided?
On our team, we're able to provide the outer layers. So we provide the coat, the 3-in-1 coat, the rain pants, the helmet, headlamp, those types of things. But a lot of teams, that's not even possible with their operating budgets that they have. So.
Okay, some people might be surprised to learn that, and I gather fundraising then becomes a big part of your life. What kind of fundraising do the groups do? How much of a difference does that or can that make?
We typically budget in the order of $20,000 to $30,000 a year that we try to raise through fundraising, and we'll do various things like traffic control, parade marshalling, volunteer work within the community where we can be funded. We're trying to expand into offering food services at some of the various community events with the use of our food trailer that we have.
And so in terms of training, how extensive is the training? How much funding is required for that, or what would you like to see in that regard?
We ask our members to come out every Tuesday evening. We train for 2 hours every Tuesday at our base in Debert. But we also have special training options on weekends throughout the year. We try to focus on about 4 mock searches throughout the year to give people more real life exposure to a search environment. And then we will also have other training events that go on the weekends. So it ends up being fairly extensive in terms of the hours that we ask our volunteers to to participate in the training that we're offering, and also the people that are organizing the training are putting in some extra hours to have it ready to deliver when our volunteers show up.
Okay, and so what would you like to see change then?
What would I like to see changed? I'd like to see the a little more funding so that we don't have to spend our volunteer hours going out fundraising, asking for more funding from the general public. I'd like to also see some funding, probably more, I don't know if it's provincial level or whatever, but I'd like to see some command posts set up across the province with probably more select teams that are equipped to be able to handle some of these larger multi-team, multi-day searches that are going on. Not every team of the 23 teams have the manning and the resourcing capabilities to manage those level of searches, but I'm thinking, 3 or 4 more additional command centers that could be expanded in times of need to be able to handle these larger searches would be a nice bonus for the effort across the province.
Okay, and just quickly before I let you go, this latest search was the first time involvement of the new Nova Scotia Guard. How helpful were they in this case? How much do you need them?
I would say the Nova Scotia Guard was helpful in that it allowed us to free up some of our trained members to be able to do more searching. So they took on some of the roles like traffic control and parking and some transportation type responsibilities, which allowed us to free up some of our trained searchers to be able to go back in the woods. So from that regard, I could see it adding some benefit, yeah.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there, Mr. McLean. Thank you for all you do.
All right, you're quite welcome, and thank you for the chance to have this chat today.
Coming up, U.S. and Chinese officials say they've reached a deal to roll back most of their tariffs for 90 days. And a BC man who recently purchased a used vehicle is warning others about a deceptive practice called odometer fraud. Welcome back. Donald Trump's three-day visit to the Middle East is beginning with some momentum and hope after Hamas agreed to release an American hostage it was holding. As Chris Brown reports, it's fueling hopes that the U.S. president will use his influence not only to make big deals, but to pressure Israel to end the war in Gaza.
As breakthroughs in this catastrophic war go, the release of hostage and U.S. citizen Idan Alexander was a modest one, though for his loved ones, an obviously euphoric moment. But the deal for his freedom appeared to cut out Israel. The U.S. negotiated with Hamas, leaving other Israeli hostage families incensed at their government.
Netanyahu is working on stalling and prolonging the war on the blood of Israeli civilians and Israeli soldiers.
The UN says Israel's blockade of Gaza has left 500,000 people facing starvation. Relentless bombing has killed thousands since its military broke the ceasefire in March. Hamas has said it will only release the remaining 20 or so hostages if Israel permanently ends its attacks, which it won't agree to. Trump is heading to a region that badly wants the war over. But Saudi Arabia, his first stop, also wants U.S. capital and know-how, and it's treating his visit like a giant trade fair. Saudi's so-called 2030 plan has seen dramatic change here as it tries to shift Western focus away from Saudi Arabia's poor human rights record and onto successes.
The biggest success is not brick and mortar. The biggest success is the change that we are seeing in society, the return to moderate Islam.
But this journalist says Saudi's leadership prizes regional stability, and as long as the war in Gaza rages, there is none.
The good thing about President Trump is he has the ability to convince everybody. My personal hope is that the U.S. will make a decision or take some actions that will help end this conflict.
Israel is taking partial credit for Alexander's release, saying it only happened because of its attacks on Gaza. Israel is going to send negotiators to Qatar, which should make for a dramatic few days, as that's where Donald Trump is headed after his business here. Chris Brown, CBC News, Riyadh.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's willing to hold face-to-face peace talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The White House had proposed a potential meeting in Istanbul for Thursday. But so far, the Kremlin hasn't said whether Putin will take part in it. Crystal Gamansing has more from London.
Given the ongoing attacks, Ukrainians are understandably skeptical about the possibility of the war coming to an end. Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesperson, said the Russian president is serious about trying to find peace at talks the president proposed in Turkey. Peskov, however, would not say if Vladimir Putin would attend those talks personally. That is the expectation of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. On Sunday, after U.S. President Donald Trump told him to accept Putin's offer immediately, Zelensky agreed, saying he would be in Istanbul Thursday to meet face-to-face with Putin.
I was very insistent that that meeting take place. I think good things can come out of that meeting. Stop the bloodshed of the horrible, it's a bloodbath. They're not American soldiers, they're from Russia, they're from Ukraine, but they're people. They're human souls, and they're being killed at levels that we haven't seen since the Second World War.
The last time these two men sat down face-to-face was back in 2019, so a meeting would be a monumental step forward. Russia so far has ignored calls for a full and unconditional ceasefire. Several European leaders are meeting in London and stated Russia needs to be serious about stopping the war. Kaja Kallas is the EU's top diplomat, and she accused Russia of playing games.
In order to go into any peace talk, there has to be ceasefire. And we also need to see that Russia wants this, to show goodwill to sit down.
Germany's foreign minister issued Russia an ultimatum: pause fighting by the end of the day or face strict new sanctions. Trump says he thinks Russia will agree to the 30-day ceasefire, and he believes both leaders will attend Thursday's meeting. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
A shaky ceasefire brokered between India and Pakistan 2 days ago appears to be holding, but uncertainty over how long that will last is stirring up fear on both sides. As Salima Shivji reports, Indian officials are warning this truce is only a pause.
2 days after the fragile ceasefire began, an uneasy calm in one of the hardest hit towns in Indian-controlled Kashmir. Signs of the conflict embedded everywhere. My home was badly damaged, this man says. All we want is peace. On the other side of the line of control, the de facto border dividing Kashmir, people are slowly returning to homes abandoned in haste. Kala Khan never left. His family hunkered down in a bunker that he's ready to use again. We hid here from the shelling, he says. It's fully stocked if the ceasefire falls apart. That's a distinct fear for many here, used to the decades-long acrimonious battle between India and Pakistan for control of Kashmir. The latest flare-up lasted 4 intense days, triggered by a deadly attack on tourists that India blames on terrorists it says are backed by Pakistan, a claim Islamabad denies. Each side quickly claimed victory over the weekend. Fervor and cheers in Pakistan, with headlines praising the country's brave, glorious sons. In India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with top officials before telling the nation, Terror and talks can't go together. This is only a pause on military action, Modi says. We'll wait and see what Islamabad does. As many on both sides cling to the hope that the ceasefire will hold, there's a lot of uncertainty and unresolved issues. A crucial water-sharing treaty is still suspended. Pakistan desperately needs the water, but India is hinting it will take a hard line. And the shaky truce won't bring back those lost in the violent clashes. This new widow is inconsolable. The toll of the brief conflict hard to comprehend for so many. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Mumbai.
U.S. and Chinese officials say they've made major progress towards a trade deal. Both countries are agreeing to take a big step back from their escalating tariff war. Aaron Collins has the details from Washington.
The U.S. and China, in the midst of a trade war, declared a truce of sorts over the weekend. Both countries agreeing to reduce tariffs for 90 days while they work on a deal. After a weekend of trade talk, Chinese and American officials moving. China agreeing to slash their tariffs from 125% to just 10%. The U.S. will drop theirs from 145% to 30%.
The consensus from both delegations this weekend is neither side wants a decoupling. And what had occurred with these very high tariffs, as Ambassador Greer said, was the equivalent of an embargo, and neither side wants that.
It's the news markets were waiting for. The Dow Jones and NASDAQ surging. The U.S. president hoping the de-escalation, the start of something bigger.
But the biggest thing to me is the opening up. I think it would be fantastic for our businesses if we could go in and compete with China.
That won't be easy and could come with a cost. Shipments to the U.S. from China are down more than 20% year over year. Bad news for the Chinese economy, but not good for American consumers either.
We have right now no ships leaving China for the West Coast. That's the first time we've seen that since the COVID pandemic. We are hearing retailers talk about empty store shelves within weeks.
Facing potential shortages and rising prices, the U.S. may need a deal as much as China, an opportunity for other countries like Canada.
With the U.S. key retail markets continuing to suffer, that may create additional leverage for Canada on which to rely in future negotiations to try and settle this tariff issue once and for all with the United States.
Canada and the U.S. could have an opportunity to make progress on a deal soon. The two countries will take part in G7 meetings in Alberta next month. This is the second time in recent days the U.S. has scaled back its global tariffs. Last week, tariffs on steel and aluminum from the U.K. were dropped as part of a framework for a trade deal with that country. Perhaps signs of de-escalation in this global trade war. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Washington.
Many Canadians appear to be still opting out of traveling south. Early Statistics Canada numbers for April show a sharp drop in return trips from the U.S. Last month saw a 35% drop in cross-border vehicle trips compared to April of last year. Even the number of Canadians coming back by air declined nearly 20%. It's the third straight month of the downward trend. Many Canadians have been boycotting the U.S. over tariffs and Donald Trump's talks of annexing Canada. The complainant in the sex assault trial of former World Junior hockey players is facing a second week of cross-examination. All 5 accused have pleaded not guilty. The woman, known only as EM due to a publication ban, faced questions about the alleged incident in 2018. Ali Chiasson has more from the courthouse in London, Ontario.
Today, EM was asked whether she recalls initiating sex in the hotel room with the hockey players. Alex Formanton's lawyer suggested she was, quote, egging them on to have sex with her. EM testified she doesn't recall doing that. She also testified that while her memory is fuzzy about the chronology of what sex acts happened when, she says she does remember the intercourse and with whom she allegedly had it with. One was with Michael McLeod consensually at the beginning of the night, and the other was allegedly with Alex Formanton. Today, his lawyer, Dan Brown, asked whether she remembers leading him to the bathroom. EM testified she remembers him following her to the bathroom where they allegedly had sex. Lisa Carnelos for Dylan Dubé picked up where Brown left off, suggesting to EM that she was, quote, taunting and threatening the men that she would leave if they didn't have sex with her. EM says that's not true. Instead, she testified that she was frustrated and upset when she allegedly wasn't allowed to leave. Carnelos also showed text messages EM sent to her best friend after she says she called her crying at 5 a.m. The friend asks, quote, hey girl, are you okay? Did you want to talk about anything? Or EM responds, hey, yeah, sorry, I'm okay, girl. I think I was just being overdramatic earlier, but I'm good. EM was testifying that she was downplaying at this point, saying she was still processing and didn't want to think about it. Cross-examination continues tomorrow. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, London, Ontario.
The BC man is sharing his story to serve as a warning to anyone looking to buy a used vehicle. He unknowingly purchased a car with misleading mileage. Erica Johnson with our Go Public team looks into the deceptive practice of odometer fraud.
So this is the car.
Yeah.
Steve Andrews needed a car for his growing family, landed on this 2012 Subaru. A good price, and the mileage was right, about 98K.
They said it was in very good condition, that there was no real problems or issues with it.
But as soon as the car left this dealership, it started to shake. Andrews brought it to a mechanic who helped him locate a record showing that back in 2020, the mileage was already thousands higher than advertised. But it gets worse. Go Public tracked down the previous owner who sold that Subaru just a few months ago. What was the mileage on the vehicle when you sold it? She told us the odometer was at about 150,000. So who rolled it back? More than 50,000 clicks.
Yeah, I was definitely angry.
Looks like a classic case of odometer fraud, which no one tracks in Canada. But recent tariffs on new vehicles are expected to drive up demand for used ones. And it's not that hard to find out how to fiddle with an odometer. This expert shows how even modern digital odometers can be tweaked using a handheld programmer widely sold online.
It is a click of a button and entering in a number. You don't have to have any know-how. You just need to know how to select a vehicle on a screen.
In seconds, he takes years off the vehicle. Andrews bought the car from this dealership, which told us the mileage was low when they agreed to sell it on consignment from this dealership, which also said the mileage was low when they bought it from the private seller. Claimed they'd done a full investigation, but wouldn't say what they found. This car expert says the buck stops at the dealership selling the car.
Dealerships do have to go upstream and find the source of where this all began, who is responsible, because ultimately they will be held accountable.
Steve Andrews did get a refund and filed a complaint with BC's regulator for car dealerships. He also bought a used car for his family from a different dealership. He hopes his story warns others about a potentially costly, deceptive practice he was lucky to catch. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
As we told you earlier, markets in the United States and Canada rallied on news of a 90-day truce in the U.S.-China trade war. Let's take a look now at how the numbers landed as we head to break. Looks like Amy picked a good week to be off, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, looking really, really nice over the next couple of days. Temperatures building up into the 20s. So really, I mean, we've had some taste, but this will be our warmest shot so far, widespread anyway. So we'll get to that. First, a look at our viewer picture of the day. This one, we're going to zoom in on a beautiful spot. This is East River. And yeah.
Well, I was just in East River this weekend, as a matter of fact.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, small world.
I don't remember the sunset. That was this weekend?
You know what? Wendy didn't say exactly when it was. Maybe she did.
May have been Sunday. Yeah, it could have been Sunday because I was there Saturday. Beautiful though, isn't it?
Really, really nice. Wendy, thank you so much for sharing this. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. And yes, beautiful sunrise and sunset in East River this week, for tomorrow rather, as we look at temperatures ranging between about 14 and 18 for the central and western areas of the province. And yeah, we're going to be closer to the 10-degree mark and even single digits for the North Shore into Cape Breton in those onshore winds from the west to northwest, which will ease into the afternoon, but will be persistent. There's the west to southwest flow on Wednesday. Temperatures 16 to 20. And yeah, a little bit cooler in the onshore winds, of course, this time of year from the west to southwest. And it does look like those Thursday temperatures are going to be even warmer, as that warm front will be lifted well off to the north and east, and there's that area of high pressure kind of fading away. So we will see some increase in clouds on Thursday, maybe a late shower pushing into the Tri-County area on Thursday, late afternoon into the evening, but those temperatures really nice. Falling off a little bit towards the weekend. Yeah, elephant in the room with some shower chances, but still some time for the things to iron out a little bit there.
You're going to get some nice beach pictures, I'm sure, this week. All right. Lava fountains are once again spewing out of Kilauea. It's one of the world's most active volcanoes on Hawaii's Big Island. The lava started flowing yesterday afternoon. At its peak, it grew into a vigorous 500-foot molten rock geyser. It paused less than 8 hours after it began.
Authorities say all eruptive activity stayed within Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. There have now been 21 separate episodes since December.
Nature's spectacular, isn't it? That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.